So a couple of things have happened in the last few months in our house, and I it just brought back a lot of things that used to happen on a regular basis. For those of you that know me, know that when I was in burnout, my anger, my rage, we called her Medusa. She was like another person would come out. And when she would come out, my husband didn't know which end was up. And we never ever knew why all of a sudden I would be this calm, happy person, sometimes in the middle of a great conversation with him. And then the next minute, just this totally other person would come out and I would start yelling at him. I would be really angry. At the same time, other things would also be happening. Muscles would get tight, and I never really could relate it to anything. Um, Through our journey of burnout and fixing everything, um, my son had severe eczema. So I really dove into environmental toxins, thinking that it would help his eczema. But what we realized was different toxins, fragrances, and all of that also would cause a lot of my anger. And so a couple of months ago, um, my husband, well, actually, I'll backtrack to when I was doing the dishes one day. We ran out of a non-toxic green dishwashing soap that we had been using. And my husband and I were totally into a really great conversation. And as I was doing the dishes, because we'd run out of the soap, and I had a Palmolive in the basement. So it was almost as soon as that Palmolive hit the water, my nose started to run, my head started to get heavy, and I felt this tightness from the back of my neck all the way down. All my shoulders, all the back of my neck started tightening. And in the pit of my stomach and in my body, I just started shaking. And I looked at my husband and just started yelling at him for no reason. And it was so out of the blue that we both stopped, and instantly I knew that it was because of, for me, one of mine and my son's, my youngest son, one of our big triggers is environmental toxins, is fragrances, synthetic fragrances. Um, if you want to learn more about those, on Netflix, there is a really good movie called Stink, and that will help you understand more about synthetic fragrances. But the quick and dirty is that basically, due to rules and regulations that are out there, they don't need to disclose what is in a fragrance because it's a trademark secret. So the smell of that orange scent in the Palmolive, or our deodorants, our toothpaste, cleaning products, our fabric softeners and laundry soaps, all of these things have this trademark fragrance in them. And when your stress system is taxed, you're become heightened to how fast certain toxins and certain things affect you. So like my husband and my oldest son aren't affected much at all by this. But my youngest son and I are affected really fast. I, especially during hay fever season for us is September, August, September. When my hay fever used to act up, which I don't have seasonal allergies anymore since working on my stress system, but I could not go down the soap aisle of a grocery store, and I couldn't go down the aisles beside it. Instantly, my brain fog would occur. I would have no energy, and I would usually get so frustrated with my kids or my husband, and we would be in an argument before we would get to the cash register. And I never understood why shopping always exhausted me. I used to just say shopping would exhaust me. Going into shopping malls where they had those Lush and Body Shops, walking by any of those would pretty much knock me out, and I would have I wouldn't even be able to look at any clothes or go into any stores and try things on because it would just take too much energy and knock out my brain fog. So back to the Palmolive. Sorry, I digressed. I felt all these feelings. I looked at my husband and I knew it was the Palmolive because it was so instant. Whereas in the past, because we'd had the laundry soap that smelt on all my clothes, that the soap, and we had so many different fragrances in our house from different things that I was never able to place it. But that day I could, so I emptied out the water, washed my hands with a non-toxic soap, and I got out. I have certain essential oils that sometimes that will instantly take me out of a stress state if I know that I've just done something that put me into one. And I instantly put it on, and my brain started to clear in about 10 minutes. And that tightness down my neck, which interestingly as well, for years and years and years, I was going to chiro and physio and acupuncture and anybody that I could think of to help me with this tightness that I used to have down my neck and in my shoulders. No rehab exercises worked. Nothing ever worked to decrease that. And I would always get brain fog. But that anger was the one thing that we were like, where does this come from? And I calmed down, and my husband and I looked at each other and we were like, holy crap. This is what used to happen all of the time, all the time. And that's when we realized that us taking out these toxins and detoxing and really working on making our house more green not only helped my son's skin, but was also helping a lot of our moods and our anger and our marriage. I look back at a lot of things I said to him and did to him when those hits of rage would just kick in. I'm not proud of myself for any of that. And I am thankful. Like, I'm so thankful that he didn't leave, that we were able to finally figure out what it was and be able to fix it. Which backtracks to about a month ago. My husband was going through his hockey equipment and decided it all needed to be, it stunk. So he got out Febreze, which I don't know where he found it because I didn't think we had any of that stuff in the house. And he sprayed all of his hockey equipment and he put it into a corner of the basement. And it was the other side of our house in the basement. And I was going to do laundry that day. And I had to leave the laundry room in the basement. And I was like, what is that? And I went upstairs and I was like, what is that smell in the laundry room? I'm like, I can't think. I can't change the laundry. I'm getting really mad. I'm getting this tightness in my body again. What is going on? I'm like, where is this smell coming from in our house? And he was like, uh-oh. And he ran downstairs, put all of his hockey equipment into plastic bags and put it out front. Thing is that part of where he was in the basement is also in part of our living room, and my kids were there. And my youngest, who's also affected, started yelling at his brother and was hitting him and kicking him, which is, he's the gentlest, kindest soul. And it brought that out in him. And I looked at him and he couldn't stay calm. He was yelling at us all day. We kept trying to get out during the day and in the afternoon. I just said to him, I'm like, do you just feel like you just want to yell and scream at everyone and you just are so angry with everyone? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I said, there's a smell in the house and that's what it is. My husband had already put a HEPA filter downstairs to breathe it out. He put diffuser downstairs to try to purify the air. He was doing everything that he could, but that whole entire day for us was my son and I trying to stay calm. Now there are certain, things that we do give my son when his stress system is taxed. So we gave that to him and it calmed him down for a bit, but because it kept lingering in the house, it only helped him for so long that we spent most of that day outside. We really aired our house out. My husband kept apologizing, which it wasn't his fault. He would never, ever intentionally do anything to make us angry and mad at him all day. I mean, it's not pleasant for him either. But it was a really, really, really tough day in our house. And it was all because of Febreze. Febreze, that's all it was, but it's the synthetic fragrances and the chemicals that are in it. So it was a really, really big struggle for us. Yeah, Alex, Febreze, Yeah, it unhinges you. I find too fabric softeners. So the other day, our neighbor's dryer broke, and fabric softener, laundry detergents, and then you also have the dryer sheets, um, all create all of these toxins. And my husband knew as soon as he had the basket, he could smell it, that he did not leave their laundry basket downstairs. He put their laundry in our dryer with our wool dryer balls and that are in there that we use instead of fabric sheets. And as soon as it was, and he brought the basket actually outside to air out. And then as soon as their stuff was done, he brought it out, and then he actually put essential oils onto our dryer balls to get the smell out, and ran the dryer a little bit to get that smell out so it didn't get into our clothes. It is amazing how much these smells can affect us, which goes to the thing of why does it affect some people more than another? And that's where we dig into your stress system. So your stress system comprises of 50 different hormones. And it also has your nervous system and it has your gut. There's so many different moving parts to your stress system that each of us is affected differently. So my son and I are beacons. We know when there is a scent or a smell walking down the street. If somebody's doing their laundry and we can smell the scents coming out of their dryer sheets or out of their vents, it hits us that we have to walk faster. And that's where we actually like masks sometimes, because we'll put certain essential oils that decrease our stress system onto our masks, and we'll breathe that as we're going along to de-stress us from smelling those salts. So we're kind of like, I guess, like a canine dog in a sense, where they're able to sniff out bombs. We're able to sniff out those environmental toxins. It just is what it is. We understand that and we've learned how to live with it. But the more that we support our stress system, the more that we do support those 50 different hormones and our nervous system and our gut, the less they affect us. They still do. The thing is, though, is that even if they aren't affecting you, it doesn't mean that they're not causing damage in your body and they're not pushing your stress system. So it's really important to understand that if a canine dog can smell it, but you can't smell that bomb, it doesn't mean there's not a bomb there. And it doesn't mean it can't be harmful to you. So really, really important to know that, that if you are struggling with anger, short fuse, brain fog, muscle aches and pains that are just unexplained, sleep being off or being absolutely exhausted all the time and drained, no motivation and drive, then that is telling us that your stress system needs support. And one of the easiest ways to do is to start switching out your toxic products for non-toxic products. It's just very quick and easy to do. And it's one of those things where it can start taking that stress off of you. Now, that being said, I just had somebody in a comment yesterday talk about how what my program is missing is the mental health aspect, and I need therapists in my program and everything. So the thing is that where I come in is I'm not a therapist and I don't deal with the traumas and the PTSD. There are 100% people trained in to do that. Where my strengths come in is in supporting your physical stress system. And if we can support your physical stress system, then it can withstand so many stresses, those big T traumas, the small T's, all of those things in your daily life, trying to work shifts, 12 hours, 24 hours. I mean, some of you are working 96 hours right now because of being so short staffed with people off of COVID and all of these things, that if we can support your stress system the easiest and simplest ways possible, then that will allow you more bandwidth and energy and drive to be then able to make it through the other things. My job is to allow you to have more resiliency, to be able to handle all of the stressors that are thrown at you. My job is not here to fix the traumas. That is where PTSD treatment and therapies come into place. My job is to make it so that you have the bandwidth, the energy, the strength, the motivation and drive to make it through those treatments if that's where you need, or if you're somebody that is just pushing your body each and every day on the job, it's to be able to make sure that you can withstand that and last your career and do what you're meant to do. So let me know in the comments if there are any products that you do like, that you are using that are non-toxic, or if you want to know if your products are toxic, let me know that. I can definitely guide you through some of those. And one thing to note as well is that with my clients, there's one where when they switch their toothpaste out, because think of toothpaste, you're ingesting those toxins. So with our kids, as soon as he switched to a non-toxic toothpaste, he said his kids started going to bed earlier. They were calmer. They weren't as chaotic. They weren't as hard to get down into bed. He said it was instant the first day that they switched their toothpaste, and they've switched their laundry soap, their fabric softener, dryer balls. We use vinegar for a fabric softener, non-toxic soap. I make my own, but you can totally buy some, and dryer balls. Just making that change alone, you sleep in your bed sheets, you wear your clothes all day. That is a 24/7 stress load that you can be taking off of your body. Changing your toothpaste, your soap, your deodorants. These things are quick and easy to do. When you finish with your toothpaste, just switch it out with a non-toxic one. That's all you do. So let me know what questions you have. I'm really curious to hear how sensitive you are when you're going through shopping malls or through the soap sections of when you're going through the soap aisles. How does that affect you? How do you know? Okay, we have a question. Would hair mineral analysis show these toxins? So there's a difference between the toxins that your body holds in with fragrances, because they are trademarked. We don't even know what's in them. So there could be, in a hair mineral analysis test that we do, which shows your toxin levels, it could show that like your lead, your palladium, your uranium, all of these things, your arsenic, all of these things are high in toxins. It will show us if certain things are. We will never know, because of fragrances being trademarked, what certain toxins they are. So a hair mineral analysis will let us know what your toxins are, and we can help to detox you. That being said, depending on where your stress system is at, if we were just to go in and try to get all of these heavy metals out of your body right away, and I'm going to tell you, some of the fire guys, when their testings are coming in, their testings are showing through the roof for certain toxins. And we would love to go in right away and detox them, but there's other things. We need to make sure that their liver can handle it. We need to make sure that their stress system is strong enough to be able to handle that and to be able to do it in a gentle way. So the first step is not detoxing the body. You can always, without harm, take some of the detox imprint off of yourself, off of your body, from things that you're doing in your household. And the hair mineral analysis is another tool to go in, and it tells us way more than just your toxins, but one aspect of it is the toxins. It'll tell us which ones we do need to be eliminating. There's also other testing that can be done that is specifically just for toxins, to find out which toxins you're high in. But again, we need to do the steps in the right order. We need to make sure that your stress system can handle it. We need to make sure that your liver can support the detox. If your liver is already congested and struggling with just the day-to-day movements of it, then trying to add any sort of a detox is just going to tax your system over and do more harm than good. So we really need to make sure that we're going through the right steps in that. But if you are working at getting the metals out, but you're not making changes to stop how much are coming into you as well, then you're going to have to just keep going through the circle of testing to see where you're at, detoxing it, testing and detoxing, which always puts a tax on your body, that it is better to always take some proactive steps as well to make sure that your environment is the least toxic possible. And so for the fire guys as well, like in your kitchen, you guys do a lot of cooking and stuff, making sure that you guys have a non-toxic soap. Would be really curious to see how that affects the guys in your service. It's such a quick fix. Finish the bottle and replace it with a non-toxic green product. 7th generation is the one that we use. We use the natural, clean and free, or no unscented one. But just switching it out and seeing what you do, see how that works on people, because anybody who has a high stress system, it doesn't matter if their toxin loads are high in their body. That's actually a different situation. If your stress system is taxed in certain ways and certain hormones are affected, then you will be more susceptible to noticing these toxins. But as I said, as with a canine dog, just because it can smell dynamite and you can't smell it, or it can smell drugs and you don't know, it doesn't mean they're not there and they're not affecting you. So it's really important to make the changes as you can, as non-overwhelming as you can. And just to note that anger, there are more reasons than anger than solely the mental aspect of things. Your physical stress system can really exacerbate those as well. And getting that under control can then help you if you do need, help you when you are going through the therapy route as well. All right, any questions, let me know, and I am more than happy to answer them as they come in. Take care.